I am. I just hit the record button. So I'll call this special selectmen meeting of October 14th to order at 6 p.m. I'm going to attempt to share my screen to give you the overview of where we're at as far as reopening the dog pound. And the purpose of the meeting is so that I can get your approval to request additional funding from the dog account to pay for the repairs that are a little larger than what we anticipated after meeting with the state ACO, Gary Wilson, who is extremely supportive of us reopening, but there was quite a list of items that needed to be repaired. So I'm going to start by trying to share my screen. See how this goes. Okay, you guys can see it?
Yes.
So Orla compiled this for me. It's where we're at in the $10,000 that had initially been appropriated. A good chunk of that falls under the fencing that needed to be replaced in the kennels themselves. There was a substantial amount of fencing that was replaced by Killingly Fence. And that was a relatively big ticket item. And in total, we're left with is $4,000. And we have approximately what I can guesstimate based on the quotes that we have, which I'm going to show you, around $9,000 left. So I'll be looking for your guidance. In my mind, I'm thinking just to be safe, because we have approximately 5,000 that we're coming up short, we might want to ask for another 7. Orla did not get back to me. I should have checked my emails again, as far as what's left in the dog fund, but initially it was supposed to be 60. So there should be approximately $50,000 left in the dog fund. But she didn't get back to me before the end of day today.
So you kind of lost me there.
Oh, I'm sorry. How did I lose you? I'm sorry.
Okay, so this $4,190.
That's what's left
What has been spent?
That's what's left. Total that's spent to date is $5,800 and approximately $10 has been spent to date.
So roughly 5,000 is spent. We approved 10,000 already, so that leaves roughly 5,000.
Right. And the additional repairs that are necessary based on the inspection by the state ACO and the quotes that I will show you in a second put us at about $9,000 more in repairs.
So we need to appropriate another 9,000.
Less the 4,000 that's left as a balance would mean that we would get by with 5, but I'm afraid of the incidentals that might come up. So I'm thinking we're safer to ask for 7 or 8.
Okay, I guess I understand now.
Yeah. So factoring in the 4, that leaves us with approximately 5 based on the quotes that we've received. So, which I'll show you next. So Jan and I started out initially, our first focus was we had to get the electricity back up and running, and that's where you'll see some invoices from Pocket Electric, because Eversource required us, because it had technically been shut down. We weren't being billed on it. They needed somebody to go in and look, and there was some wiring, some rotting issues and things that had to be corrected from being vacant. So that was where we initially started. Jan would also she needs an outlet so that she can run her laptop there. The lighting on the outside, the exterior is void. So we were going to add new floodlights on either side of the kennels. We were going to add new lighting on the inside, eliminating the fluorescent lighting, so it would be brighter because it's very dark and dingy. And then the outside lighting that lights up the parking lot, we were going to have replaced as well. So it's relatively, in my mind, a pretty small job. So we have 3 quotes right now. The first, well, actually the first came in from Pocket Electric, and I was like, I'm not paying that for the electrical. So if you can see on your screen, for the work that I just named, they were coming in at $4,500. And I was like, that's just not right. That's not right. So then we had Bill Higgins. He was coming in to quote, and he has an electrician that came with him. And they came in. Unfortunately, the problem is that Jan was there with them, and Jan told them what Paquette's bill came in at. So mistake number one, their bill came in at $3,100. So in the meantime, I had reached out to a local electrician, Darren Trudeau of Trudeau Electric, and I met with him there, and I didn't say anything about any quotes. I just told him what needed to get done, and his bill came in around where I would have anticipated it at $1,690. And that includes the use of his bucket truck to go up to that top, you know, the light that's over the parking lot. So to me, that's a very fair price for the electrical work that was described. And I can send you all copies of this. I should have done it before I left. So those are the quotes, and that's what I would probably lean towards doing. So then as far as the pound itself, when we met with Gary, there's a lot of trip hazards that he noted from the concrete that's breaking up. So all of that concrete pretty much needs to be demolished and filled and repaired to avoid trip hazards. He also noted he wanted the concrete inside and outside sealed because of the dog urine and things like that. So all of that has to be reworked and sealed. The quarantine run is currently all metal, and the dogs basically can't see out of it. So what Gary's recommending is plexiglass. And as we know, plexiglass is kind of expensive. So right now, because of COVID, so that's driven up some of our costs as well. But to have the quarantine run to be entirely encased in metal where the dog can't see out is just seemed really inhumane. And Gary Wilson agreed with that. So plexiglass is going to have to be put in there, which has driven up some of the cost as well. And then lastly, what we didn't think was going to have to happen is above the door, the entry of the door, some of the concrete block is loose to the point where Gary thinks if it's just unstable. So he wants that stabilized. And then the eaves on the top of the roof, there's one section that's rotting, and Gary Wilson, we didn't think that he was going to suggest it, but he didn't even suggest it. He said that has to be repaired. So the rotting wood needs to be repaired. So that being said, right now I currently have two estimates. The first was Bill Higgins, who came in, gave us basically a quote, and this quote that you're going to see includes the electrical. And we told him, well, if you're at 12.5, we'd have to go out to bid because it's over the 10,000 bid limit. So he said, well, I'll drop it to 9,900. That doesn't completely set well with me because it's like, well, then that means there was a lot of padding in there. And $3,100 of that was also the electrical. So I'm sorry, this is really confusing, but we started getting quotes, and then Gary from the state was able to come out and meet with us to give us the list of what he wanted done. So Bill is the only one that's gotten to see that list. The second quote we have is from, I've never done business with, but he's come highly recommended by a few contractors that I know, and that's Maxson Construction out of Woodstock. So again, a local person, not Thompson local, but at least next town over local. He's quoted everything except for repairing the door, the blocks above the door, and the rotting wood, because we didn't have that for him. So he's going to replace all of the concrete. So his total price is coming in at $5,400 minus those other two pieces, which I can't imagine would be
Now,
More than $1,000 or $2,000 at the most.
does that include the electrical on this one?
No, there's no electrical in this one.
Okay,
His total's coming at 5,400 with all of the concrete work. And then we'll have to add in for the door, which he's coming on Monday to look at the other two pieces so he can add that to his quote.
okay.
So, but time is really of the essence. What I'd like to see happen, as long as Mac's quote comes in fair on Monday, I would like to grant him the work and have Trudeau do the electrical, and then get the state back in to give us the approval so that we can open up. The only other problem is Mac's lead time is he can't get into work until November 15th. But I think we're going to face that with most of the contractors right now because they are so busy. So
So what do you need? A motion?
Well,
we need a motion to go to the Board of Finance to request a little more money.
Okay,
from the
but
dog fund, which is there.
you don't need us to approve the bids, right?
No, because as long as we're under the 10,
Right,
but I will keep consulting with you and let you both know what Max comes in at and what seems fair.
okay.
I still would talk with the other guy and tell him to remove the electrical and just quote accordingly so you get something to compare it to.
Right. He had told Jan that he wouldn't quote without the electrical, which I didn't understand that.
So that's how we want it quoted. That's what you got to tell him.
Right.
Oh, he said he wouldn't do it unless he got the electrical.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay,
But I can certainly go to him and ask and tell him that the board's looking for that so that we can compare apples to apples.
Mm-hmm.
So, but at this point, the only thing I'm really honestly looking for is just, I want to keep momentum moving. If we can't get the money from the Board of Finance, then we can't do anything. We won't be able to finish the project and it'll be next year by the time we get up and running. At this point, I'm shooting for a December 1st opening with John Filchek.
Amy, do you know if there's any grant funding available for this kind of thing?
I could ask, but ultimately, that I could have Jason, my husband, Jason's been asking to do a GoFundMe. He's been wanting to do a GoFundMe for it. And I don't think it's a bad idea.
I don't either.
I think that we could start doing some extra additional donations to help defray the cost.
Ken, what do you think of that?
Anything, as long as we can use those funds to go, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, having it back in-house is the way to go. It's just unfortunate that, the pound is in the condition it's in after numerous years of, deterioration and putting very little into it.
Right.
And of course, being vacant. But in the long run, we are better, and I think we'll serve the public better by getting it in-house. But as long as there's no problems with the, GoFundMe, legally from a standpoint to spend the money, I'm for it. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and I totally agree with that too. And I hadn't even thought of a GoFundMe. I love the idea of it.
Yeah.
And it's donations, which they can accept, and it can go into the fund, and
It'll
it can
go into
to
the
cover
animal
these
fund.
costs.
Yep, to help defray the cost of everything we've been doing and get the fund back up there for future use.
Yeah. And really, I think, the money is in the account, and the money that we're going to spend now will hopefully stabilize the pound for a while. So I feel like it's money well spent,
Right.
but I love the GoFundMe idea. I'm totally in favor of that. And, I'm ready to make a motion and move forward if you are.
Yep. Again, it's not determining who's getting the work.
Right.
It's more determining, can we get money from the Board of Finance?
And I really think a GoFundMe would show the Board of Finance that we're trying to be creative with donations.
Yeah. I'll get them to start it right away. He wanted to. I told him, just wait. Let's just see where this goes. And
I love the idea. I think it's, I'm very clever. So I'll make a motion that we request from the Board of Finance another, did you say 7,000?
I'm thinking 7. What do
How
you
much-
think, Ken?
How much do we have in that account? What was
Right.
it? 6?
Well, there's 60, so, and I asked Orla for that, but again, I neglected to.
Yeah, so if it was
double
at 60, we request the 10,
10,
it brings it down to 50. Give yourself, some room in case there's another cost or a follow-up inspection
right,
or something, because if we're so close within pennies, then we're back at the Board of Finance
Right.
again to get, and that makes no sense. I mean, we should, go in prepared with, the numbers and have enough to cover something that may become unexpected.
So up to $10,000?
not to exceed, yeah.
To exceed
about that?
$10,000, Ken?
Yeah, sure.
I know we won't need more
40
than
in
that,
that fund, and then hopefully we can raise some donations.
right,
So up to $10,000, or not to exceed $10,000
okay?
for
So
additional repairs.
Suzanne's making a motion to request from the Board of Finance an additional $10,000, up to an additional $10,000 in appropriations from the dog fund to
Second.
make repairs necessary for the
Additional
pound.
repairs, right.
I'll
Not to
second.
exceed $10,000 for it, from the dog fund for additional repairs as needed.
Suzanne made the motion, Ken seconded. Any further discussion?
If we're gonna do a GoFundMe,
Mhm.
the only thing that would be a concern, and maybe you can pose that to the Board of Finance. If we get those type of volunteer funds, does that mean they still have to approve the expenditure? They give it to us out of that account?
Oh, okay. That'll be a good question. We can ask them
Oh,
tomorrow
that's
night.
a really good question, because well, on the other hand, it would just go into the fund. So at least you'd have the money to use to start the repairs.
Hmm,
And that money would be designated for the dog fund.
right. Oh, yeah,
So it
absolutely.
would just go into the fund.
But Ken's wondering if we still have to keep asking the board for the fund.
Yeah, I mean, if the fund money is there to, because it's volunteer donation of funds and things of that nature, I'm wondering if if it isn't like the revolving account that the the recreation department has.
Yeah.
The Board of Finance has no control over that.
Although this fund too, Orla had described that also has donations in it. Or Mary had said that this also has some donations in it.
There's
it
a lot of donations in that.
It has,
Right.
yeah, it has donations, it has fees, it has fines, that kind of thing.
And we still have to
Dog
request.
licenses. Do we have to go to the Board of Finance to request it?
Yeah, I guess so. That's what,
I don't know. That's a question that needs to be posed.
right. That's why
I
we've
don't
been
know
doing
that we do, to be honest, and looking at the guidelines that Mary had sent to me, and I don't think that she has gone to the Board of Finance before.
Well, I don't know what was spent from it before.
She said whenever she needed anything, she just submitted either a bill or a request
Right.
or reimbursement.
Well,
Is that gonna be-
supplies are one thing, but repairs to the building.
But that's going to be used ongoing.
Right.
That account will be used if they have to house a dog, or there's fees outside of, or that was Mary's concern, is we need to make sure we keep money in that account.
Right. All right, well, we'll look into it a little bit more. So, any other discussion? Okay, there's a motion, a second. All in favor of going before the Board of Finance to request additional funds, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that motion passes, and we'll get clarification on it.
Sounds good.
All right, very good.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Do we need a
All
motion to adjourn?
Oh, yes, I'll make a motion to adjourn at 6:20 PM.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, guys.
Good night.
Good night, Amy.
Good night.
Ben.